Hey everyone, Andrew back again and welcome to another video, and today I'm back with another top 20 for 2020 list, and this time around it is for home invasion films. Really excited for this top 20 because the home invasion genre is one of my all-time personal favourites. So I have pretty high expectations for other people's lists, and I'm hoping to get some good recommendations from other people's videos and their top 20 lists. But anyway, before we get started, a quick shout out to Jason and Joe, the creators of the top 20 for 2020. So I'll leave links to Jason and Joe's channels in the description box below, but I'm sure most of you already know who they are and are already subscribed, but if not, definitely check them out. So yeah, with that being said, let's get into my top 20 home invasion movie list. So coming in at number 20, we have Beautiful People. And this is an interesting take on the home invasion genre because it kind of blends a few genres into one. So essentially this is a home invasion film. It's about a group of 3 thugs who break into a scientist's house, and the scientist is actually doing experiments on people in their basement, and the humans, if you want to call them that are getting experimented on are basically like zombies. And as the family are going through complete hell, he actually releases what is downstairs. So all hell breaks loose, but yeah, this one's good. It's a pretty interesting and slightly different take on the home invasion genre. Next up we have Us, which is fantastic. I really enjoyed this one a lot. Again, a pretty interesting take on the home invasion genre. A big twist within this movie, which I'm not really going to spoil, but I'm sure most of you have seen this one by now already. But if not, I definitely recommend it. This one is really good, and it's got a really good and pretty important social commentary, especially towards the end of the film. So yeah, that's Us. Coming in at number 18, I do not own a physical copy of this film, so I will just show the poster, and that is Panic Room. This one is really good. Big fan of this one, so definitely had to include it on the list. I kind of like the fact that this one pretty much mostly takes place in a single room. I think it's pretty awesome and it works really well. So yeah, that's Panic Room. Coming in at number 17, we have an 80s classic with Donald Pleasence, and that is Alone in the Dark. This one definitely had to be on the list. As I said, it's an 80s classic, and this one is really good. It takes a while to get going, but once the intruders break in and start stalking the family home, it's really good, and it is pretty creepy. So it's, yeah, really good one, Alone in the Dark. Coming in at number 16, we have Intruders, and this one took me by surprise. I really wasn't expecting too much from this one when I watched it, but this one is really good. There's a really good twist within this movie, and it's pretty interesting too because the main character is afraid to go outside. She cannot leave the house, and she's been this way for a very long time. As the story unfolds, you find out that there's pretty much an underground bunker type dwelling in the basement of this house. Very creepy stuff, but this one is really good, and as I said, it's got a pretty good twist to it. So that is Intruders. Coming in at number 15, we have Don't Breathe, and this one is fantastic. Certainly well worthy of any top 20 home invasion list in my opinion. I really like the concept on this one because the target is actually blind. So it's again a slightly unique and different take on the traditional home invasion genre, but it works really well. There's some very creepy moments within this film and it is fantastic. So yeah, that's Don't Breathe. Coming in at number 14, we have Kidnapped. And this is a Spanish home invasion film, and I'm not really too sure how many people out there have seen this one, but this one comes highly recommended. It's pretty straightforward, pretty stock standard. It plays out like any other home invasion film pretty much, but what I really like about this movie is definitely how intense and brutal it is. and it's very, very bleak. Now, there's a couple of really, really awesome moments within this film where we get two different character perspectives in split screen. So essentially the characters are in different rooms or different locations, and you see how the movie is playing out by both points of view, and this works really, really well. I thought it was a fantastic touch to this movie. So yeah, Kidnapped is fantastic, but keep in mind it is very, very bleak. Coming in at number 13, we have Hostage with Bruce Willis, and this one's pretty underrated. I know Joe's a big fan of this one, and for good reason, because it is a really, really awesome movie. So this one, it plays out pretty much like a typical home invasion film. A group of people attack a family home, but what I like about this is there's a young boy in this one, and he pretty much hides. He's got a lot of sort of cubby spaces and hiding spots within the house, and he definitely uses it to his advantage. And there's a fantastic scene in this movie that I'll never forget involving a bathroom mirror, which is very, very creepy. But yeah, this one's awesome. That is Hostage. Coming in at number 12, we have the Aggression Scale, and this is another one that I would consider to be pretty underrated. I don't think I've heard too many people ever mention this one when it comes to home invasion films. But this one is fantastic. I'm not really going to get too much into it, but all I'm going to say is this is pretty much the horror version of Home Alone. So a group of intruders break into a family home, and yeah, the young boy within the home pretty much goes completely nuts. So yeah, it is pretty much the horror version of Home Alone, and it's fantastic. So that is the Aggression Scale. Coming in at number 11, we have Clown House, and I love this movie. I know it has a bad history, but besides that, if you kind of push that aside, I think this is a really, really good film. I love clowns, and the clowns are really, really awesome within this film. This one is really, really creepy. It's about a group of clowns that basically terrorize a group of young brothers in their family home. Really, really good stuff. As I said, it's very, very creepy, extremely atmospheric. So that's Clown House. Okay, so now we're on to my top 10 home invasion films. So coming in at number 10 is I Spit on Your Grave, and this is the remake, and I prefer this a lot more to the original because it focuses less on the rape and more on the revenge, and boy does the character within this movie get some very, very awesome revenge. It's a very, very brutal home invasion film, to say the least, in terms of the revenge portions of the film. But yeah, this one is awesome. I'm sure most of you have seen it, you know about it. So that's I Spit on Your Grave. Coming in at number 9, we have The People Under the Stairs. And this is one of my favourite Wes Craven films, and just one of my favourite horror films in general. Always been a massive, massive fan of this one. I can remember seeing it at a pretty early age after getting into horror. And yeah, this has always remained one of my personal favourites. It's a pretty interesting take on the home invasion genre because it kind of focuses on the good characters breaking into a home and discovering some very, very sinister goings on within this particular house. So it's kind of a different spin on the home invasion genre. But yeah, I'm sure most of you have seen this one. It's an awesome film. That is The People Under the Stairs. Coming in at number 8, I had to do it, and some of you are probably thinking, why is Home Alone on a home invasion movie list? Because this is essentially what the movie is. It is essentially a family or kid-friendly home invasion film. Kevin is home alone, and he has to defend his home from 2 burglars that are trying to break in. So, yeah, this is a home invasion film. I don't really care what anyone says. I grew up on this movie. It's an absolute classic, and while it's not horror, it definitely fits within this genre, so I definitely wanted to include it on my list. Coming in at number 7, we have In Their Skin, and this one is very, very underrated. I don't think I've heard too many people ever mention this movie. I know Jason's seen it and he likes it. But this is a fantastic home invasion film, especially from a character and story standpoint. And it is pretty unique and different from your traditional intruders breaking into a home and kind of intimidating the family, because the people that invade the home come across as really, really nice at first. But as you can probably tell from the cover, they're basically trying to take this family's identity. So that's all I'm going to say on that. I'm going to leave it at that. But yeah, this one is fantastic. So that's In Their Skin. Coming in at number 6 is You're Next. And I actually rewatched this fairly recently before compiling this list, because initially when I first saw it, I wasn't a big fan of it, because I really couldn't get into the movie because of the very, very annoying family characters. And while I do consider the family to be some of the most annoying characters in horror history and completely useless within this film, I think this is extremely well done. I love the soundtrack within this movie. It's really, really good. And I love the main hero within this movie. She's actually an Australian actress, and she is phenomenal. Talk about a very, very smart and strong final girl. You have that within this movie for sure. And I kind of like the twist as well within the movie as well. I love the intruders. They're dressed in... You can see one of them there on the cover there. There's 3 of them, and they wear different animal masks. And the masks look really, really awesome and creepy. This one is pretty brutal. It has some really, really awesome kills. But yeah, it is fantastic. So that is You're Next. Coming in at number 5, we have The Purge. And I absolutely love this movie. I love the concept of all crime being legal for one night. Very, very scary concept. I wouldn't want it to happen for real, but within a movie, I think it is a pretty awesome idea, and it works really, really well. This one is about a family who are supposedly meant to have a very, very safe and secure home, but the young boy ends up letting in a person who is getting chased by a gang of nutters, and the gang end up arriving at the house. They want the person that they let inside, and they're basically terrorizing this family for the evening. Really, really good. As I said, I love the concept of this movie, and the villains are genuinely really, really creepy. So yeah, that's The Purge. Coming in at number 4, we have The Collector, and I love this movie. I think it's a really, really sort of mix of home invasion and slasher film, and the traps within this movie are fantastic. There's some very, very brutal and nasty traps and kills within this film. But yeah, I really, really like this one a lot. Love it, in fact. That is The Collector. Coming in at number 3, we have Better Watch Out. And this movie absolutely blew me away the first time I watched it. I watched it around Christmas time last year for the first time. And wow, one of the best modern horror films that I've seen in a really, really long time. Hence why it's made 3rd spot within this list. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal film. The main kid within this film is a complete psycho, but extremely well acted. This one has some Australian actors within the film too, which is pretty cool. But yeah, like aggression scale, it's pretty much the horror version of Home Alone. There's even a few nice little nods to Home Alone throughout the film, and while it's not a traditional full-on home invasion film, there's definitely spots within the movie or bits within the movie where it kind of plays out like it's heading towards that. But really, really good. Absolutely phenomenal film. That's Better Watch Out. Coming in at number 2, and this was a little tricky. It could have gone either way, but yeah, thinking about it, coming in at number 2, we have The Strangers. I'm sure everyone's seen it. It's a home invasion classic. Very, very well done. Very simple film, but extremely effective. Very, very creepy. I love the villains within this film. Their masks are extremely creepy. And the ending. The ending is probably the most memorable ending that I've seen when it comes to the home invasion genre. I'm not going to give it away, but yeah, when you find out why the villains targeted these particular people, very, very chilling stuff. So this movie is amazing. That's The Strangers. And coming in at number 1, my favourite home invasion film of all time, which may not be a surprise to some of you because I have mentioned it before. But yeah, my favourite home invasion film is definitely Inside. When it comes to home invasion movies, this one is done extremely well. The villain within this movie especially is very, very good, very, very effective. This movie has pretty much everything I love about the genre. It's got a really, really good setting within the house. It's extremely violent, bloody, and brutal. And as I said, it's got an absolutely fantastic villain. And again, her motives are pretty messed up. But yeah, this movie is phenomenal. I absolutely love it. So that is Inside at number 1. Okay, so there you go. That was my top 20 home invasion list. Let me know what you think of my picks in the comments below. I hope everyone is staying well and safe out there. I hope you've enjoyed this video, this top 20 list, and thank you for watching.